So let's jump into the demonstration of all of these on-site factors, so it will be easier for you to implement them when you are first starting to write an SEO content. So this is a sheet where I've written down all the important factors that we have discussed in this chapter, and all of these factors are everything that you need to consider as a content writer, and rest is up to the SEOs to take care of. So the number one is keywords in copies or keyword density. We already discussed that keyword density is not really an important factor because Google doesn't take these into consideration too much.
Keywords in copy is a little different than keyword density. We use keyword research to understand what are all the topics that our audience really value. You'll learn more about this in the next chapter.
And these are all the things to do and things to avoid. So anyways, in the content planning stage, your SEO or yourself would be able to do this keyword research because you'll be learning this in the next chapter about how to do these properly. So anyways, you'll be given such keywords, and usually content writers ask me how much should be the minimum density.
Just don't worry about the keyword density, just focus on providing value that you could give in the content.
So let's go to the page structure, right? So this is low priority. Anyways, I'll let you know how to get this done. So first, you just have to add header tags to all the subheadings. I'm doing a demonstration on this article, so it will be easier for you to implement them. So first, add header tags to all the subheadings. So this is the heading, and table of contents can be header 3 or 4, and this is the overview. This is done so that people reading it and Google would be able to scan the article better, and that's pretty much it. So this is what we do. You could add insights, you can add h4, important header tags you can add h2, and subheadings you could add h3. So this is pretty much what we meant by page structure. So after you write the article, it's recommended that you do this before publishing, so it will be easier for the users and the search engines too. Yeah, so this concludes the page structure factor. And for FAQs, if you have an FAQ section, and you could add h4 tags to all the questions, and this might help you get featured snippets, FAQ featured snippets. And if you are wondering what that is the FAQ section that you get in the SERPs. We'll discuss more about that later. So going to EAT optimization.
It's recommended that you add source links whenever you feature data from other websites.
So if you are featuring some sort of a table or some specific data, then it's recommended that you add sources. At the end you could add sources, or beneath the image you could add sources. You could add a sources tab. In this article I haven't added any such specific data and tables because it was not necessary. So this is another thing you need to learn. Just because it says you need to add sources doesn't mean all of the articles would require this to be done, right? So add statistics and insightful data. This you need to add everywhere in every article. So I've added a did you know section here. So this is like a start which would help the readers to get a better perspective on things. And similarly, I've added an insights section as well. Somewhere insights about domain authority. What do I mean by relative metric? And keywords in title, this is high priority. So target keyword, we discussed about target keyword. You'll learn more about target keywords and other keywords in the next topic. So the target keyword for this article is drop in domain authority. So in case there is a drop in domain authority, what should we do? So I've added the target keyword in the title, so make sure you do that. And there are a lot of title tag optimization techniques like using brackets, numbers and emotions. For example, here you could see there's already a bracket and there's already a number, and if you need to, again, you cannot actually add emotions to each and every single article that you are publishing. If it's possible, you can do so. So drop in domain, there is a character limit for the header tags that you add as well. So I could potentially write another statement here about frustrated about losing domain authority, but that wouldn't go nice on Google. So make sure you add emotions and numbers and brackets in the header tag. So why do we have to do this? Because the click-through rates would increase. What is a click-through rate? Let's say domain authority. This is the target keyword that people are searching for. And this is the header tag. So domain authority, what is it and how does it work? See, this does not involve brackets or numbers. So like I said, you do not have to follow everything in every single article that you're publishing. You are free to experiment and learn as time goes, right? So going to the next thing, the internal linking, it has very high priority. So make sure you add, usually what I do is, whenever along with the flow, I'll add some sort of a related blog section rather than, and then use anchor text or the entire title tag or header tag of that article that you are linking to here. So this is called as the anchor text. The text that you are linking is called as the anchor text, and you need to use keywords here rather than, I could probably write here, security issues. I could do like click here and then I could potentially link this article here, but then it's recommended that you link the keywords rather than generic text like click here or other stuff. And try to make sure you add internal links high up in the page. It's recommended that you add at least 4 to 5 internal links as in links to other pages in your website. So since I have mentioned security issues here, I've added WordPress security plugins. This is again an article in my own website. And going down again, along with the flow, I have added SEO audit checklist because we are talking about website audit. And at the end, if there is not many links that you could add in the beginning or in between the article, at the end you could have a related blog section and then add a bunch of links to your related blogs. So make sure you add only related blogs. For example, my website Bleeding Hope has articles about self-help and other stuff, but I also have a lot of articles about digital marketing. It doesn't make sense for me to link to an article about mental health or self-help here. You need to link to related blogs or something that's relevant to the article that you have written and you're going to publish. Makes sense, right? So, and then the other thing that you need to make sure is keep it under 150 links per page. So next comes the external linking. So we have discussed external linkings help Google understand the page better, and we need to make sure we link out to trustworthy pages, right? Not just some random page. For example, here I have added domain authority tools. This is from Moz, which is a very trustworthy website. And also you need to make sure you don't link out to our competitors. External links, I don't think they are very important right now, but if just make sure to keep the users in mind while you're doing it. You do not have to add external links just for the sake of adding external. So if you have to add a lot of external links in a single page, that would make us lose authority. So in such cases, we need to add something called as a no follow tag. I'll demonstrate how to add them while I'm publishing the article. So going forward, adding images and image alt tags, again I need to demonstrate this while I'm publishing the article, so it will be easier for you to understand before publishing. So all of these, okay, let's go to WordPress. So this is how the WordPress dashboard looks, and now you add post, right? So one needs to understand the process of adding post would differ depending on which tool you are using, which theme you are using, or this publishing process changes from theme to theme, and it also changes with some people use page builder tools, and this is what I'm using. I'm not using my theme or any page builder tools to publish the article. I'm using the WordPress built-in methods. So in such cases, if you're doing something like me, then you could just Control A and then paste everything, right? Is it done? Yeah. So if you click here it's very easy for me to add no follow tag. So if you're only having one external link, then you do not have to add no follow tags. Or if you have a lot of external links, for example, if you have more than 4 external links in your website, in a web page, then you need to use no follow tags, right? And then adding images and alt tags. So while you are publishing the article, it's recommended that you add images because that will be useful for the users as well. So what I do is I use Canva or other publishing content creating tools, and I create my own designs. Now if you have a designer, then use them. So here's the images. Yeah, one more thing that I forgot to mention here is make sure you change the file name. Let's see what this image is about. Competitor analysis. Add the keywords in the file name as well. competitor analysis for loss of domain authority. Make sure you explain it better as well, so it will be easier for Google to understand. And this for drop in the checklist. Now that you have done that, go to downloads, drop in the checklist, and now it's easy. Now you could resize it based on how it looks at the end. And how do we add alt tags, because we discussed about alt tags before. Okay, let me add the other image as well. So select the image. In the side there is an alt tag. Again, you need to be descriptive here. Drop in domain authority checklist. Target keyword and explanation is what I usually do. Drop in domain authority is the target keyword, and then explanation is checklist for fixing the loss in domain authority. Hope this helps. So if this, sometimes this doesn't always look this big in the published page as well, you could preview this later on. So let me add the alt tag here as well. Drop in domain authority is the target keyword, and then competitor analysis checklist. Yes, now that images and alt tags are done, external links are done, we have discussed all of these. So before publishing, keywords in meta description. So what is a meta description? Let's type again, let's search something, domain authority. So this, what you see here, domain authority is a search engine ranking score developed by Moz. So this is the meta description. This helps people understand what the page is about, and helps with the click-through rates. Click-through rates is how many people actually click through to the website among all the people who watched, who had an impression, who actually saw this, right? So how can we add our meta description? So you could see here. So number one thing, this is called as the Yoast plugin, Yoast SEO, because it needs to be relatable and it needs to include the pain points and the target keywords, right? And it has to be under a proper character limit as well. So first, let's try to relate with them. Frustrated about the loss, frustrated about losing your domain authority. Don't worry, we got you. Make sure you make it relatable, but also make sure it's not too informal or it's too much for them to believe. So don't worry, we got you. Don't worry. This article is everything you need to do to fix your drop in domain authority. See, I have included the target keyword here, drop in domain authority. I've made sure I've related to their pain points, and I've included the pain points here, and it's well under the character limit, because let's say I add few more. See, it becomes red. So it's under the character limit as well. So next comes the URL optimization. So what is URL optimization? So if you see, this is called the URL of a particular web page. So the person who have published this web page would have optimized this URL. So while we discuss that we need to understand the website architecture, so for example here if you see moz.com, learn is a specific niche there. Under learn they might have a lot of learning things, like other than SEO they could have social media and everything. So learn, SEO, domain authority. So if you come back here, see, the URL here is different than what the actual URL is. Why do they optimize this URL? Is because it will be easier for the user to understand. Let's go down. See, it needs to be open, because some people actually look at this, not just the meta description and the title. Some people actually look at this URL thing. So you need to make sure you add the appropriate thing, so that it will be easier for the, again this is completely because it will help with the click-through rates. So how to optimize URL is here in the slug section. You could add first, it's bleedingup.com.co.in/SEO/ drop in domain authority, or you could even add just domain authority if you don't have any other articles under here. Right, makes sense. Here also you could make sure the proper categories are added, mental health, passive income, SEO. And you should also add a featured image before you finish up the thing. So what I usually do is go to free stock images. So you cannot really write domain authority because we might not. Let's just check. No, domain authority photos. Okay, it just shows things about authority and nothing about the website or a drop. So we could add, since it is about drop in domain authority, you could add someone's sad face. So because this will be more relatable. So why do we need this? Yeah, this would work properly. Free download. This will get downloaded. Waiting for pixels.com. So just a minute. Okay. Again, okay, the next thing that I do is tiny PNG. I'll reduce the size of the image before uploading, because I should have done this for the 2 images that I uploaded before as well. So see, this is 1.9 MB, which is like a very huge size for an image. I also have inbuilt plugins to reduce this. See how small it has become. Now download this. Change the name of the image. Rename drop in domain authority article. Right, and then you add it here. Did I do it for the reduce thing? Yeah. Now wait for this to upload. And again, while uploading also you could change the alt tags here, because for featured image also you need to add an alt tag. To just copy this here, since you have already optimized the title. Set featured image. So what else is pending? Schema markups. So schema markups are just piece of codes which helps Google understand the page better. So if you just go to Google and add schema markup generator, I use this one specific tool, technicalseo.com. Go inside. Right, let's bring it here. Wait for it to load. So all you have to do is, so since you'll be, as a content writer, you'll be writing articles mostly, so select article. There are other types of schemas as well, which is not really relevant. Just make sure that you only add one schema markup per page, because adding multiple can actually confuse Google. Article type is a blog post here, and the URL. So this you need to add once the article is completely published, right? So okay, you could see, even though we added H4 tags here, because of the theme that I'm using, the H4 tags are gone, because it's listed under list tag. You need to add headings and then you have to add H4. These kind of final editings, you need to first understand the theme of the thing that you're working on, the company or the website that you're working on, to make sure everything is properly done. So once this is done, everything is done, right? So one thing that I missed, this is not very important, but drop in. I do use the Yoast SEO plugin to make sure everything is properly done. 1 second. Since this seems to be really big, you need to drop in domain. This actually could help removing caps. You could add 2022 checklist. So what would we add in the brackets? Okay, let's remove the brackets for now. Alright, now let's go down. So you see, now it has become green. It still recommends keywords, keyword density, keywords and subheadings. So this plugin has not been updated for a very long time, and they still recommend that we add keywords and everything. From my experience, from my personal experience, I always publish articles without taking keywords in introduction, keyword density and keywords and subheadings into consideration, and a lot of my articles have been doing really well. And as an SEO, if you have enough experience as a SEO content writer, you would understand that these are not really important. So let's publish it. Let's wait for it to get published. So this URL you take, add it here, headline is drop in domain authority 2022 checklist. Image URLs. So how do we add image URLs? So go back, just click replace, open media library. You do not necessarily have to replace, but if you go down here, okay, I haven't added alt text here, oh my god. So this is the URL of the image. So why do we need to add it? So Google will better understand these are all the images there, and you could add multiple images as well by clicking plus. So these are the 3 images we added in the page. You could mark them all in your schema markup, right? Done. And short description of the article is generally the summary section. So we go here, just make sure you completely copy this, paste it here. Okay, so now author type. So if you are a personal brand, then you need to add person, and I prefer to add it as an organization. Bleeding Hope. Author URL. So this is a new thing that has come out. So publisher also, Bleeding Hope, and you should add the publisher logo. Date publish. You do not have to add everything. Date modified, you could just leave it as it is. Author URL is mentioned here so that no, it will be easier for Google to understand. So I will generally link the about us section if you have one in your page. About us as the author URL. So now all you have to do is come here, click the copy thing, go to the page. This is the page that we published right now. So write HTML. You could add it as HTML. So going forward, so once we publish the article, even though if you did everything properly, sometimes it might not rank. So in such cases, what we have to do is add supporting articles around a single page that you specifically want it to rank. So what are supporting articles? I'll show you here. This is the file that I use. So if you see, there are some articles which I have properly did research, like the keyword research and subtopic research and everything, which you will learn in the next chapter. So there are some articles which I really want to rank, and there are a lot of supporting articles. Why have I written so many supportive articles when compared to the actually well-written, well-researched articles? This is because my website has been about mental health for a very long time, and now digital marketing is something that have come is a new niche for me in our website. Because I haven't really been writing about digital marketing in this specific website. So to increase the relevance, I've added a lot of supporting articles. So similarly, if you're a new website, or if you are if you're a website who's branching out into a new domain or a new niche, then it's important for you to write down a bunch of supporting articles. So what is the difference between supporting articles and keyword well-researched articles is, supporting articles might not be very big. Supporting articles is not research for keywords or anything. You just write them to support the main articles that you want to rank. For example, we have written about domain authority here. So the supporting articles could be about how to improve domain authority. So checklist to maintain to make sure your domain authority doesn't drop. SEO audit checklist. All of these could be the supporting articles around this main article. And what you need to do is, once you publish those supporting articles, link out to this article.